Vongola is gone. He died 2 weeks ago. And I know that for you might come as a shock, but it's been actually 3 months that he was ill. And I'm making this video because I know that many of you cared about him and that most of you are dog lovers, if not all. So I think it's only fair that I share a bit. But as you know, Vongola I got him in March of last year and he was already 13. And I was so hoping to give him a few years of peaceful life. But things didn't go that way. In November, he started not feeling well, and at first they treated him as a gastrointestinal just issue, like maybe he had eaten something weird. Then when that treatment didn't work, then it turns out it was pancreatitis. When the treatment for pancreatitis didn't work, I mean, it worked for pancreatitis, but then he kept having the same symptoms. I went to another vet. I did all kinds of tests, ecography, and what they suspect was a intestinal lymphoma. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into the details. I guess it's not very interesting. Just know that it's been 3 really, really rough months filled with doubt and sadness and feeling of impotence. I just feel like I would have wished for something different for him because he didn't have a good life until coming here. He spent the first years of his life most likely in the streets, and then he was in a shelter for 8 years. And then he found a home, and then he fell ill and died. I feel it's so unfair. He was such a good dog. He didn't deserve this, and it just maddens me, to be honest, that this is how things went. And yeah, it's just, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I feel like with every dog it gets harder. Like with Odie, it was really hard, but at the same time I knew that he had a good life, because before he ended up in the rescue center, he actually was loved by a family. And yes, things happened and they had to, take him to a rescue center, but I know that he only stayed at the rescue center for a month, if not even less, and then he was with me and he had a good life. So I didn't feel this sense of injustice that I feel with Vongola. And I think that he knew that he was loved. I spent the last month with him all the time, just next to him. And he was surrounded by love when he died, and he died peacefully. And I knew he was ready to go because he wouldn't wag his tail anymore at all. He was barely able to walk in the last few days of his life. He stopped eating completely. He was just done. But it truly broke my heart. But the reason also I'm making this video is that I feel like there's so many Vongolas still in the shelter that are waiting for a home that might never find a home. And the only thing that we can do, and I think we truly owe it to those dogs, because those dogs, it's our fault if they're there. We created those problems. So I feel like us that love dogs have a duty to try with the means that we have to help them. And so I set up another fundraiser page for the shelter where Vongola came from. If you saw the video where I was sharing the adoption process, then you know that this is a big shelter. They have more than 300 dogs, and there's a charity of volunteers that help the dogs finding homes. They pay for medical bills. They try and just make them more comfortable. In honor of Vongola, I would like to make, I don't know, life easier for all of his companions that are still there. So if you have the means, I will leave the page down below, and the minimum donation is €2. So if even half of the people that watch this video are gonna make a donation, it's gonna make such a huge difference. And I know that it's tough for everybody, but if you could afford even just €2, I would be so grateful. And that money goes straight to dogs. There's no middleman. Like, the volunteers aren't paid. It's all, they all sacrifice their life for free, just to see those dogs finding homes and just, living a better life. So yeah, I will leave the link to the donation page down below. You can contact them directly. I will leave the links as well for their Instagram page. You can contact them directly and check with them that they're getting the money. You can ask how they're using the money. Like, I write everything in the page, but I know that with online fundraisers, you're always like, are they actually getting the money? They are getting everything, and you can ask them directly for proof of that. Just want to be clear about that. But yeah, I'm gonna be sad and upset about this for a while, I think. And yeah, I just, if you have lost a dog, a soul dog especially, then you know how hard it is. And I just ask you to pet your dogs for me, give them a little cuddle and a little kiss on their snout, and just cherish them while they're here. Because when they go, they just leave such a massive hole. And yeah, okay, bye. Woohoo!